All right, for our third video today, we're going to focus on talking about pivot tables and how you can use them. And tables are really helpful when you want to start taking your data and doing some analysis with it, particularly when you're just trying to describe your data. You know, what is the breakdown by gender or age or race, ethnicity, that type of thing. It's very useful to have a pivot table to do that. So what we're going to do is show you how to do that. The first thing you can do is go over here to click Insert and click on Pivot Table. And you'll see here it says create a pivot table, and you can select a table or a range. And I'm going to select human services data set A1 to J41. It looks like it's already selected all the data there, so that's correct. We'll go ahead. I'm actually going to put it on a new worksheet, so it's going to show up in a new tab down below here. So I'll say OK. And it creates a nice new tab here. Now, what I might do is say, let's say we wanted to know what the breakdown was by gender. So I'm going to click on gender here. And gender, when I click that, it automatically shows up in rows. So you see I've got rows of female, male, and non-binary. Now I want to have values to know how many. So I'm going to click on gender and bring it down to values. And it says count of gender. So it says, hey, there are 21 people who identified as female, 16 as male, 3 as non-binary. Super cool, right? And if I click on count, or down here, you can also kind of adjust this a little bit on the values to show different types of values. So here I have count. What I could also do is look at a sum or min max, et cetera, all these different types of options you can use. You can also show data as, for example, a percent. If I did percent of row total, for example, I think that's the right one. Row total, see? No, that's not the right one. Click on it. I'll click, right click. And I'll go to field settings, show data as percent of column total. That's what I'm looking for. Right, so you can see it's 52% female, 40% male, and 7.5% non-binary. If I drag gender down there again, I think it will show up. Yeah, so I have a count, and then I also have a percent. So you can kind of look at it in those two different ways. I'm going to go ahead and remove the first one, though, so that way we get that out of there. And we've got just now our female, male, non-binary, and then we've got our counts. If I wanted to, I could also then highlight all this here and then click Insert Chart. And I'll do Insert Chart, and voila, it shows up a nice little pie chart here with all that data kind of represented in a pie chart. And you can do all kinds of neat ways to change the format of this by double-clicking on it. If you click on Design, you can do all kinds of cool things with your design here to change what it looks like. You can add chart elements like data labels, which I love to do. So that way you can have numbers associated with it. It makes it a little bit easier. If you think it's too small, you can click on the font and change it to something a little larger so people can view it. So lots of things you can do to make your lovely charts so pretty. So I'm going to label this one down here, pie chart of gender. Oops, I spelled that correctly. Gender. There we go. Let's go back to the Human Services Dataset tab here. And now let's go ahead and create another pivot table. So I'm going to click Insert, Pivot Table. So we'll do another one. Again, the dataset shows up of A1 to J41. I click OK, new worksheet. Pivot table shows up. This time, what I want to do to build a report, choose fields in the pivot table. Why isn't the pivot table showing? Oh, there it is. I'll do shape. There we go. This time I want to do a breakdown of race ethnicity. Right? So I'm going to do race ethnicity. I'm going to put that in. And here I've got that same opportunity, right? So here's the different race ethnicity categories, and I've got the count of race ethnicity, voila. And this time I'm going to show an example of how to do a different type of chart. So I'm going to highlight those and click Insert. And this time we're going to do a bar chart. And you can see here you have a nice bar chart showing each of your different counts of the different people each of the different categories with a bar chart. I can click on the axes here under design and then click on data labels outside end to make some nice data labels there. And again, you can do a lot more to format your tables. So that's another example using a pivot table and chart feature. Next, I'm going to do another one here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on this. I'm going to go Insert Pivot Table. This time I'll do another one on a new worksheet. And what I'd like to do this time is take a look at let's look at satisfaction scores. We'll do some satisfaction scores, but I want to look at that by category. So we're going to look at that by services received, right? Now, if I just have here sum of satisfaction score, it's just going to show 38 or 39 for all of them, right? So that just shows what the total score was across all of these different categories. But what I would like to do is change that from sum. Let's change it to something else. Let's go to, well, actually, if it's going to be 38, 39, it's probably going to be all the same anyways. Let's go to field settings, average. You can see 3.9, 3.8, 3.9, 3.9 with a total of average of 3.8. So there wasn't much variation based on our different service types, right, in terms of the average satisfaction score. So it kind of didn't matter what service you were getting. Most people were ranking it as a 3.8 or 3.9. So that's kind of interesting. Let's go back and see if we can find another one that might show a little difference. I'll click on Insert Pivot Table, do a new worksheet again. This time, let's go ahead and do our satisfaction score. And let's do the breakdown by gender this time. There we go. So now we might have a little bit more variation, but I don't want to sum. So let's take a look and we'll change that field setting to average rather than sum. And here what we see is a difference. We have males are scoring 3.7 on average, 3.68, versus non-binary females scoring 4. So maybe there's something about how we're serving male participants where we need to work on satisfaction in some kind of way. That's kind of a useful tool to kind of, again, figure out kind of what that looks like. So those are kind of different ways you can break things down by different categories and subgroups. And that's really helpful when you're doing descriptive data. Let's do one more here. Let's go ahead and do another pivot table. I'll highlight this and come up with insert. And let's see here, pivot table. Okay, I'll do another one on a new worksheet here as well. And what I'd like to do is look at the pre-score and the post-score. So that's going to show up in sum. And we're going to do that by gender. Now I'm going to change this from sum because I want to look at the average. So I'm going to go to field settings and change that to average. I'm going to go for this one also, use this, go to field settings and change it to average. All right, and here's our average post score and pre-score, right? So for, ooh, see, we have an F in here. Why? What happened? Oh, for our human services data set, one of my emails was not corrected, maybe? I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh, because it shows it from the raw data set. That's why I hadn't changed one. There, I'll fix that. Does it reflect it back? In sheet 6. Let's remove the gender field and try it again and see if that fixes it. It did fix it. Not sure why that's doing that. Anyways, we'll move on. You can get the idea. So we have here the average post score and pre-score. So for females, we saw a big jump from 4.95 to 7.05. We saw a big jump in male from 4.3 to 6 and 4 to 6. You see, a little bit of differences there by gender, but you see an overall increase between your pre-scores and your post scores. Anyways, I hope this is a helpful illustration of how you can use pivot tables, how you can use them to summarize your data, to break it down by different groups, to create pie charts, to create bar charts, and then I hope that it's useful as you complete your assignments this week.